Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the EVE Online market. And as you can see, I am doing this under the streaming software because I got a new screen, and normally this should allow me to make this video straight into 1080p, even for YouTube. So I'm going to test that out with this EVE Talk. If you're interested in the software, because you want to stream for yourself, it's called the Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS project. I found this in the Dota 2 Reddit, and so far it's been working really well. So let's take a seat and let's have a look at the markets for this week. Let's put that a little bit in the middle. And here we go. We'll start off as always with the minerals, where titanium prices 542, 535. I don't think that's moved a lot since last week. Nope, as you can see right there, the 5-day moving average is now crossing the 20-day moving average once again. And so yeah, that's pretty much a sign that a new price point has been found after its decent drop from well over 6 ISK. Next up, pyrite, which has been dropping as well, but the same thing right there. Looks like the new price point has been found, and it's around 13.5 ISK and 13.46 for the sellers, for the buyers. So yeah, that's pretty much 13.5 ISK for pyrite. Let's have a look at the last easy to gather one. The same thing is visible here. You know, the 5-day moving average dropped really low until below 40 ISK, but at that point, I guess investors said, well, that's probably going to be the new average price that was reached at that point, and so now the 5-day moving average crossed back over and is now back under 20-day moving average. So this is pretty much a stabilization of the market when you see this at the tail end. And Mexalon prices in station 41.5, that's just one small order, though 43, something like that is generally the price at the moment. Keep in mind, Mexalon comes from more than 60 ISK, so that's really a pretty sharp decline, and all of this is really not good news for the high-sec miners, because most of the minerals they end up with are these Mexalon, titanium and pyrite. So I'll have a quick look at Isogen here, which has been doing pretty decently. As you can see, even going up a little bit in price. Let's see what else we have. Zydrine also going up slightly. That's interesting. Noxium going up slightly. And Megasite has been going up for quite a bit, and is looking to reach, it's fighting to get back to 2.6k, which would be pretty much a high for the year if it manages to reach that in the next, I'd say, 1 month or something like that. We're looking at new highs for Megasite, so that's actually pretty interesting. The nerf to high-sec mining has definitely had its effect, because it's only titanium, pyrite and Mexalon that have really been hit, because a lot of these minerals will be added to low-sec and null-sec asteroids that are currently considered undervalued by CCP. So yeah, if you can mine other stuff, you're looking pretty good actually. All the rest is really going up a little bit. If you're mining in 0.0 or in a wormhole, you're probably still doing alright, but for the high-sec miners that like to keep it safe, it's not looking too good. Effect on Tech 1 ships. The Drake seems to have turned around its downtrend again. These are really some nice tops from 50 to 52 million. That's really not enough to consider trade worthy, but it's been bobbing in that band for the Drake, so that's doing alright actually. It's known quite a dip with the nerf to missiles, and it went as low as 46 million, but now it's hanging on quite nicely. Let's have a look at the Maelstrom chart. Well, we can also see on this 5-day moving average these same fluctuations, but overall it's still hanging on quite nicely in the 200 to 220 million band, although it's closer to 200 million at the moment, so very slow downtrend. One Tech 1 chip that I'm interested in because of something I read is the Rock, and it's probably the other way around, is it? Yep, there you go. I've read that that all of those were bought out in GTAT at one point because Test has been buying them all up. And you can see that right there in the 5-day moving average. Maybe a better view on the 3-month chart, spiking up there from like 220 and heading for 250, couple data points up there, and it even has a good impact on the 20-day moving average. So for some reason, with the probably also with the battleship changes, the Rock is doing pretty well. But I also do know from Eve News 24 that Test has been going on a rock buying spree, and that this has had its impact right here on the Cheetah market. So you might not see this translated in like Dodixie and Amar as much, but yeah, this just this happens as well when a nullsec alliance decides to go on a shopping spree. This can have quite an impact on prices as well. So that I thought that was pretty interesting to have a look at that. I will move on to the Tech 2 ships, and as you know, I've switched from the logistics cruisers to the command ships. So advanced battle cruisers, command ships. Let's have a look at the Absolution. That one's going down. Damnation going up towards 250 million. That's a nice uptick there. So if you've bought some, you might be willing to sell them. You have some nice spikes here. Look at that 5-day moving average going up really sharply from what would that be, 215 to almost 260, something like that. You know, that's really good for traders. So that's what I'm looking out for if I'm looking to sink some ISK into trading. The Nighthawk, some variation, but really not enough in my opinion. Same for the Vulture. The Astarte, usually a good one. Yeah, look at those tops. Nice top here, here, and here, which has just been behind us with a really sharp decline here. So yeah, could be some trade money to be made in Astartes by buying some at the moment, in my opinion. Let's have a look at the EOS. Pretty similar. Look at these nice tops right there, and again a sharp decline here in the end. So yeah, that's looking pretty good for the Galente command ships. If you have some trade money to spend at, look at this for at least a few. Sounds interesting, medium term. Claymore general downtrend, although you can see some 5-day moving average spikes here. Let's have you look at the 1-year chart. On a 1-year chart, very low price. What are the prices? 182, 178. If you can pick some up at like 180, you're definitely below the entire chart, and it could be a good investment. I'd say longer term than the Galente ones because of how steady and slow the decline has been in the price. But yeah, this is also okay. You know, as you can see, it's usually been hanging in the 200 to 220 band. I know now you can pick some Claymores up at 180. That's not looking too bad. Somewhat similar chart for the Sleipnir, although the bottom might already have been reached here. So yeah, over a 1-year trend, again pretty low for the Sleipnirs. You know, and keep in mind, command ships are somewhat in demand for the Alliance tournaments from time to time. So that could have an impact. If you can buy some cheap ones now, you could be looking at some trade money. Medium term, I'd say for around the summer, something like that. So yeah, that's looking okay. Actually, I'm pretty happy with going for the command ships to have a look at that on trading in Tech 2 stuff. I guess it's because it's the only Tech 2 ship really that's a completely unique role anymore. The logistics cruisers used to be really unique in the Tech 2 one because they'd be pretty much the only viable repping platforms. But with the changes to the cruisers and the frigates, they now have quite a lot of competition from Tech 1 stuff. But there's really nothing except Tech 3 ships that can compete for the command bonuses that command ships give at the moment. So maybe some caps, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's why these are still okay to trading, because they don't have they have a niche market which can fluctuate. Let's have a look. Next up, Tech 3 then. Melted nano ribbons has definitely stabilized after that correction right here. Went up to almost 6 million. Now it's back towards 5.5, yeah, 5.7 almost even for the sellers, 5.5 for the buyers. So that's looking okay actually. Pretty interesting. The chart is much closer to the buyer priced into the sell price. So I do suspect that a lot of the melted nanoribbons are actually gathered by wormhole residents and then brought in on a trade hub and sold right away for instant ISK. Buy something else, get that in the wormhole. That seems to dominate the melted nanoribbons market. So it is actually one where the buy price is pretty interesting to keep an eye on. And let's have a look then maybe at some of the Tech Tree ships like the Loki, well, going down here at the tail end pretty obviously. And then the Tengu, let's have a look at that, also going down. I'm not sure why that keeps going down like that. Let's have a look at the other ones. Actually, I'm a bit interested. Cruisers, advanced, strategic cruisers. We also have the Legion, not as pronounced, but also definitely pretty low for the year. And then the Proteus, not as pronounced either. Maybe these two are holding on better because they are still fleet doctrines in 0-0 from time to time. But the other ones, yeah, the Tengu doing really badly, and the Loki as well, which is a bit strange to me. Maybe it's just more supply. Maybe people have found other ships. It is true that the battle cruisers and the battleships are getting buffed somewhat, so maybe there are other alternatives than flying Tech Tree ships at the moment. But yeah, it's not looking good for the Tech Tree market at the moment, in my opinion, especially for the ships. Next up, Galente fuel blocks. Yeah, these have gone from 13k to well above 16k because of the changes to ice mining. Quite some sharp 5-day moving average movement, so this is definitely a lot of investment money that's going into the fuel block and ice related market at the moment, because they are expecting problems there and rising prices. So pretty interesting. I've been producing them myself, and so that's good news for me. Of course, for POS owners this is not such good news if they can't supply their own fuel. But yeah, this is definitely speculative money that's gone into these markets because of the changes to ice mining. These are the changes that not exactly the changes everyone was expecting to POSes, but yeah, CCP stepped in, changed something, and here is the effect. Finally, yeah, I think it's okay. We can go for the Plex. 5-day moving average going up nicely right there, above 550 million, slowly dragging the 20-day moving average up as well. So let's have a look at prices in the station. 556.7 million for a Plex for the sell orders, not bad, and 547 for the buy orders. So I'm definitely already looking at almost 60 million ISK profit for every Plex I bought, which is 7 of them. So that's really good. So far on the 1-year chart, the big spike from the winter before is gone, I guess. Yeah, the big spike from the winter, not last year but the year before that, is actually not visible anymore. So I guess this means that newer players can't really judge that upcoming spike with the next expansion anymore. Although this is really just because of the change right here in the in how the chart is presented, because this actually goes from 500 to 600 million. So some of these jumps are actually quite significant. We are talking about prices going from below 500 to above 600 million. This is a 100 million ISK move in not too much time. I mean, I'm looking at just this part of the chart here, and that's probably going to be the movement of the last winter expansion. Although I've always said during the EVE talks that it seems that it was quite delayed quite a little bit. Both the uptrend was early, then we had a stable period, and then the downtrend was quite a lot slower than it was the year before. But I'm definitely looking at a repeat there, and I'm looking at probably unloading most of my Plex at over 600 million if I'm lucky. So that would make me a cool 700 million ISK profit if that turns out to be possible. Which I think it is, because I'm definitely willing to wait for the next winter expansion before I unload them. But yeah, even now, if you had bought at the bottom of around 500 million, you're already looking at 50 to 60 million ISK profit easy on every Plex. So it's been a good investment if you've gone for that low point right there after the winter expansion correction. Anyways, that's it for this Eve talk, guys. A quick look at the market. I hope the video will turn out alright. It's a first test to making an Eve talk on open broadcast software, which would actually save me quite a bit of time as well. Anyways, that's it for this week, guys. See you all next time.